Good morning, it's Monday the 16th of October 2023 and here are your indie game news updates. So today's video is not quite so much news but more some points that I want to make. I've been away in London at EGX, so I haven't been working on news items as such, but there's a couple of points that I wanted to bring up that I think are quite interesting. So like I said, EGX is done now, that's all over, and I think the thing I took from it, apart from there's some really cool indie games, as always, there's some great games on the way. I'm really excited. But it brought up the reason why the shows are so good for me. And that is the feeling of connection with the game that you're checking out. So being able to speak to the developer and say, oh, cool, so tell me about your game, what's this? And they tell you about the story, they tell you what's going on, how it's going. And then it really makes a personal connection with the game, especially if you like the game. You go, okay, I like that game. And you speak to the developer, you hear how excited they are about it, and it just brings the game into reality more. And I think this is what we need to remember when you say, you've got to do marketing for your game. I know no one likes the word marketing, but that's the words you need to use. But I think if you replace the word marketing with connecting, so you're connecting your game to the people that want to play it. I think it's a much nicer way of thinking about it. So having people that like your game have a connection to you means that they're a lot more passionate, and they're the people you're trying to find. You're trying to find the people that are interested in you as a developer, your story and your game. And I think going to these shows, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So if you're thinking about ever going to a show, taking a game to a show, then I highly recommend you do. Because even if you just get 2 or 3 people that really cling on to your game, they're the ones you want. So whether you're a developer looking to go to a show, I think it's really important that you do, even if it's just 1 or 2. And if you're a player and you've never really been to a show because you don't see the point, then again, I highly recommend you go, because it's great to see other people playing the game and hearing their questions and then speaking to the developer. It's just a really nice feeling when that happens. So yeah, that is one thing I brought back from that. So this brought up a couple of key extra points for me. So on a personal note, it made me realise that that's the bit I really enjoy. I like playing the games, it's cool, but I really enjoyed just putting the controller down, stepping back and having 10-15 minutes with the developer, asking them about their game. That's the bit I really enjoy. And in person, it's a hell of a lot easier than just on Discord or online. So it's really nice to do. But that did make me think of, well, one, we need an independent games expo, because it's a shame to have like the indie section. You walk in, you've got the indie section. Oh, what's this? The indie section. Oh, it's just some indie games there. I'll walk past that to get to the massive Call of Duty bit in the middle, where the queue was round the corner, ridiculously long. They're going to be in there for 2 hours in the queue, and rather than going around and exploring the whole convention, they were just standing in the queue for Call of Duty, which they can do. It's up to them, of course it is, but it was just like, oh god. And the second biggest queue in the EGX was the pizza truck. So I just think we desperately need a proper independent games expo. I think that would be amazing. Rather than just having 20 or 30 indie games in there, we have a whole hall with lots of talks and developers. That'd be amazing. So again, if you would like an independent show, please let me know. I mean, I know that you're going to miss out on the general crowd coming in, because the word indie, if you put the word indie in an expo, I think a lot of players will think, that's not for me. That's just little indie games. So you do have to be careful on the naming of a show like that. But I think there's definitely an area or a space somewhere for, I think the word independent sounds a bit better than indie, weirdly enough. So but anyway, that's a side point, but I think we need an indie expo, definitely. So let me know if you agree. I'd love to know if you're with me on that. So in the meantime, while we don't have a show, I think it's definitely time that I restarted the Indie Gamiacs podcast, because after speaking to a few developers at the show, I realised that this is what I love doing. This is why I'm here. This is why I started this channel, trying to help developers get their game, giving them a chance to actually speak about their game and just have a discussion about it. So when I got home, I got the podcast stuff out again, I reactivated my account on some things, and the podcast is coming back. So if you would like to come and chat to me about your game, about your journey as a developer, then I'm going to bring the podcast back, but I am going to make it a video podcast this time, because then that will give us some, obviously an audio version to release, but it'll also give us some video clips to release for social media, to give you some extra coverage, you know, share all the links, all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in coming on the show as a video podcast, then just email me, indiegamereacts@gmail.com. The link is below, and I'd love to speak to you about your game. And next up is, we are coming to the end of the Steam Next Fest for this season, as it were. And I did 2 or 3 streams each, you know, for each day I did a stream playing some demos, and I wanted to play a load more, but of course I went off to London. But what I found, I was actually quite disappointed, because I played a lot of demos that were absolutely not ready to be played. I mean, I don't know what's going on. You get one chance with Steam Next Fest to put your game on there, and I was playing games that had glitchy graphics, terrible UI, awful music, and it just made me think, oh, you're wasting your chance. So please be careful. If you're going to enter a Steam Next Fest, make sure your demo is as absolutely polished as it can be, because it's a great opportunity to market your game to the masses more on Steam. Don't waste it by putting up a really buggy, terrible version of your demo, because I was quite shocked at how bad some of them were. So again, please be careful. Make the choice. Wait until the next one. If you're not quite sure it's ready, don't just rush it for this one. Make sure it's ready for the thing. You should not be putting out demos. Some of the quality I was seeing, man, terrible. But anyway, that's a slightly negative, I know, but it's true. So let's end on some positive news and go back to ODR Hockey Heroes, which is a game I've covered a lot on this channel. I love it. And it's about their Kickstarter that we covered last week before. On a previous show, we covered ODR Hockey Heroes. Well, awesome news. It has now been fully backed. So they have completed their funding round. So what was it they wanted? I don't know what they wanted. So we're at nearly £18,000 of 15 wanted. Okay, there's still 12 days to go, which is a fantastic achievement to get it this early. Halfway through, they've already reached their goal. But now we are on the extras, so now is your chance. You still got 12 days, so now we're going for the stretch goals. Now these are in Canadian dollars, 34k. So I think we're actually on, let's check how many we're on. 34, so we're actually on 29.6. There you go. So there's still, you know, $5,500 to go to unlock the next stretch goal. They've already reached this stretch goal, which is a little mini game which has been added. So if you want to back the game, it's absolutely fantastic. I've just actually noticed, I don't know if I noticed last time, and now I've lost my memory. They've actually quoted me on here on the press kit, which is nice, because I do think it's fabulous. It's a fabulous game. So if you do want to check out ODR Hockey Heroes, you've still got 12 days. I'll leave a link below. It's brilliant. You'll love it, I'm sure. Huge congratulations to ODR Hockey Heroes. Well done. So that wraps up the show for today. I do have a little EGX video coming. I didn't get as much footage, long story, as I wanted, but there is a little short video coming out on the channel this week, so keep an eye out for that. And I will be doing a Next Fest video, so if you want to check out some of the games that I found that were really cool, then I'll release a video this week as well. So until then, enjoy your week.